Alright, so I bought the MotoTech R1 tail tidy with the LEDs. And I haven't really seen like a good install video for it, so I figured, honestly, the install video they sent me is not really clear cut or explains really anything. I mean, there's a lot of straightforward stuff to this process, but I figured I'd make a little quick video on how it goes together and figure it out together. So this looks like the LED strips with the controller there. This is the bracket to mount the R1 style tail tidy, so that gets mounted to the bike. This is the license plate holder. I mounted up the little light to it, lamp light, license plate light, and then your tail tidy with two, almost has like a pigtail off the like 9-pin or whatever that is. They give you some extra 3M. So like I said, there's kind of a lot of pretty straightforward things to this process. Obviously take the seat off. You'll see right here, and I'll put a light on it so you can see better in here. This is your 9-pin that comes on the stock tail tidy, or not tail tidy, the stock rear end, and you lift this white pin. You lift that white pin and kind of wiggle this out. So that should come out pretty easy. There's also a zip tie on this. I cut it just so I could kind of move this sheath around a little bit better. But then there's these 3 bolts in here. I don't know if you can see them right there. There's 1, 2, and 3. That third one's kind of tricky to get to without taking this this little bracket off here. So there's 2 Phillips screws left and right. I just took those out, and this is, you know, you can at least move it around without unplugging everything and get to that 3rd bolt there. So yeah, I didn't mention, you got to unplug the green and the brown from this. Can feel like you're gonna break it, but just pull this back a little bit and get a good grip. Use the rubber and get a little good grip on that middle section, and then pull these pins out. Pretty simple. And then once you loosen these, you know, this whole assembly drops out. So just get a hand on that and drop it out. So I got a feeling that I'm gonna need to take more apart to rewire everything, just because there's not a ton of space right here. And we're adding that controller. So I took the seat off. You just peel the fabric, or, you know, lift the upholstery up, and there's 2 5mm bolts right there. And then I'm gonna take this bracket off here, see if there's any room under here. Try not to do what I just did. One of these 3 bolts from the main assembly fell down through a little crack there and got wedged near the ECU. And I kind of had to use like a like a long Phillips bit that I had to try to wedge it out and drop it down further. So just be careful, those will fall through. Once you take those 3 out, pop these 3 in. I'd probably slide them in first and then try to just hold them from the front. Slide this on like this, and then get your nuts started. Once you get those on, pretty straightforward. You line it up center, and then, you know, crank those down. So take the pigtail, or the 8-pin, 9-pin, whatever it is, route it up with the pigtails. I think these might go into the controller. Maybe that's why it's... See some stuff on that LED controller that might make sense. Oh, and I guess don't just try to throw them both up there at the same time. And you slot these bottom brackets in. Also route this through and up through the socket before you completely mount this, because you can't chase that wire up. All right, so while I was looking at this controller about to start doing the LEDs, what I noticed is it's actually really simple. That little pigtail off the main line, the 8-pin or 8-pin, these are already, they wire it in. So all you got to do is connect these two connectors into these two pigtails. The only thing I'm going to do, just to not stick the wrong side or whatever, is I'm going to check which indicator is which and then run it off the back here before I stick them down. Yeah, also this goes back into your actual tail light, the full 8-pin. So all they did was plug them and route the indicators off into these connectors in the controller, which looks like there might be like a, oh yeah, it looks like there's like an LED setting you can change colors on and everything. So all right, so I'm gonna turn the bike on and I'm gonna check. Nice, they do the little light out. Okay, that makes it simple too. So if we do left, looks like it's probably our other one. Yep. So we flip this to left. And obviously we know this is right. I built an e-bike, so pretty familiar with how the wiring and wiring everything goes. It can be quite a bit tedious, and this thing was a process, but it is super fun. My little mailbox run bike, and yeah, I could do a video on this if somebody's interested, but I wired in some flush mount lights and a headlight. But yeah, this thing does like 75 miles an hour, and it's pretty gnarly. But yeah, so pretty familiar with splicing wires and those connectors and everything like that. It looks like that's all they did. They took that controller and they routed they split this connector off the main line, plugged these, and broke them into connectors. So honestly, for the price, saves you a lot of time and a headache, because you could probably buy these LED strips on Amazon and do it yourself, but they also pre-programmed, or I don't know how they did the startup light, which is pretty cool. Yeah, pretty sick, dude. So definitely, and like I said, customer service was really good. So I mean, they seem to be doing some cool stuff with these bikes. Before I jump into putting those on too, I'm going to show you. So red goes into brown because they're switching colors, and ground or green is ground black. So red into brown, black into green. All right, so I was a little nervous about this. I'm always kind of nervous about adhesive. I feel like it just never gets a good bite and stays in position. But luckily my fiance is a nurse, so I had a bunch of these laying around. But I would definitely, I didn't see that they gave me a, see, it's already starting to kind of lift right there. I'm not a huge fan of adhesive on anything. She loves to use these command strips, and I'm like, just nail it into the wall, drill it into a stud. But anyways, I would definitely recommend giving it a good couple wipes with some alcohol pads. And then I, just because I, again, don't love adhesive, threw the heat gun on it, heat gunned it a little bit, and then started sticking it. But man, again, these guys make it pretty simple. And honestly, the adhesive that it came with adhered really good. So you basically line it, and I'll show you guys when I do the other one. You line it on the outside, like on the perimeter, because the light is on facing out. So not inside, really on the outside. And I'll give you a little glimpse here. Yeah, pretty clean. Pretty clean. So I'll show you how I do the right side. So like I said, get a good clean on that. Hit it with the heat gun. Not scorching hot, just warm. Just want to get it to, again, adhere. And that's probably good enough. And then start down here. This might be the longest part. Kind of just like a decal, kind of get it started. Get a good first bite there, what I would call it. And then slowly peel back. This corner, you want to definitely make sure you kind of bend and adhere right there. You know, and I'm not a YouTuber or anything, so like don't, you know, if this is all not helpful, whatever, but I figured there's like nobody in the US that, I know a lot of people in the US are buying this kit, but nobody has a video of doing it. So like I said, just make sure you kind of take your time on that first bend. That first bend's a little aggressive. And I just slowly kind of peel up, give yourself some room on the corners so you can get that full contact. There it is, man. And honestly, this 3M or whatever they're using, I mean, it sticks pretty good. I don't know if it's because I heated it up and, again, going a little overkill or whatnot, but I just hate adhesive. I never trust it. It doesn't work good. Especially for something like this that's going to see the elements quite a bit. But just kind of take your time on this part. You know, slowly peel off, press down. I'm trying to get it nice and flush. See, that corner over here wants to rise a bit, but I mean it's definitely, like, again, this adhesive is pretty strong from what I'm seeing here. Visibility is really good. That was like my main thing, right? So people can see brake lights. Also, another cool feature, I think they might have programmed this in, but when you hit the brakes, they flash, which is pretty sick actually. Just get people's attention, whatever. But anyways, I'm gonna wire it up. I'll show you kind of what it looks like when I get it all organized and wired in right. Alright, so it's all wired in. I've tried the seat on it. Doesn't look like it pinches here, so I think I'm alright. Put the controller down here. I popped this back on. I haven't bolted it yet, but ran the wire around where the pin goes in for the rear seat cowl, and had to mess around with like pulling some things, and kind of probably ran through 10 zip ties. So this gets a little bit to be of a nest of wires over here, so you kind of gotta get it where you need it, tie things off. But yeah, definitely put the controller under this right here and should be good to go. I also downloaded the app. You could change the color on it. So I obviously have the white bike, and when it does its little sequence there, I set it to the teal. I don't know if it's legal here or not. Probably not. But you could change that default stagnant color. I'll get the plate mounted up, tighten that up, put everything back on, and yeah, pretty simple. Honestly, the shipping was pretty fast. Customer service is solid, and the wiring, they make it pretty easy for you. So definitely recommend it. We'll see how the adhesive holds up. I know that's not really in their control how that holds up, but they did give me extra 3M here, so I guess if I need to rerun it or reuse this, I can, but it's on there pretty good. So we'll see how it works and kind of run it. Ooh, that gets a little warm, but I guess that makes sense, LEDs. But yeah, overall, pretty easy. I mean, I don't know. I took my time and I did it in 2 hours maybe. And again, I've installed a couple tail tidies, and I kind of took my time to make this video for you because I haven't seen anybody do it here in the US. But yeah, very simple, straightforward install, and looks super clean. So good addition.